Great question, and I'll tell you that the biggest challenge I see is making the rest of the Department of Defense understand the value of what you bring every day to the nation at a time that we've got to get control of deficit spending. We are the solution. And I'm not saying you got to have, all in the Guard or all on active. There's a mix, there's a balance. And if we could take just a little bit of the Air Force, and I know that General Welch is really trying hard to do that, and take a little more of the Army and put it into the Guard, what we will save in compensation and full-time salaries and moves and installations will help us balance the budget and get to the Budget Control Act figures that we have to get to. But it's hard to sell that inside of Washington, D.C. unless you happen to be in the Guard or Reserve. We're slowly chipping away at that. The Brits actually just did that. The British just did that, and they've invested more into their reserve now, knowing that you can maintain a force just like you all right here in this room. A highly competent professional force that can not only do their military job, but they bring all the skill sets from across the nation. And every one of you live here, or somewhere close by probably. There's probably some traveling from a long distance, but for the most part, we are community-based. So when we do have to go to conflict, we bring the nation with us. And that is a powerful message anytime a nation has to enter into conflict. So I think that's going to be the challenge, is educating people about having them get out and see what you are. It's interesting because as I go into meetings, Deputy Secretary Carter, who's the Deputy Secretary of Defense, great guy, extremely smart, but didn't have a lot of background in the National Guard, and I worked closely with him on a number of issues with the Council of Governors and then during Hurricane Sandy. And one day he says, I gotta get out and see the Guard. And he was going to New York. New York had, and New Jersey had probably over 1,000 troops. Actually, no, over 10,000 troops scattered across the Northwest or Northeast. And I said, go see those folks. Get out and see the dual status commander. Go see the Army and Air that are deployed there. He come back. And even today, I hear him talk about that experience. When something comes up with the Guard, he uses that. Chairman Dempsey, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, he does know the Guard better probably than most. But he's been out, and he's been out visiting the Air Guard. And he was up at the tanker unit up in New Hampshire. And it's an associate wing, and it's really working well, which you have to work at that. You're bringing two cultures together, but if you make it works well. And then he visited the B-2 unit from my home state of Missouri, and we've just certified nuclear capable with the B-2, and then the 509th, the active unit. And that one is working extremely well. He came back and he says, hey, any chance of you guys exporting some of that goodness that the Air Force and the Air Guard got going to the Army? And he's an Army guy telling me that. So we've been pushing that along with General Odierno, the Chief of Staff of the Army, saying, let's keep looking at this associate thing. It's not easy. You got to work at it, but there's money to be saved there. We bring the surge capability in the associate units. And, but again, getting them out of the Washington area and getting them to visit out here makes a world of difference. When they see our folks, they really start to change. But let me ask a question, because I just asked a group this morning this.